What if everything you've been told about building wealth, go to school, get a job, save for 40 years, and retire at 65 is actually designed to keep you broke and tired?
That's exactly what MJ DeMarco argues in The Millionaire Fastlane, a book that flips traditional financial advice on its head and asks, why wait a lifetime to get rich when you can do it in 5 years instead of 50?
It's wild how normalized that whole plan is. People are taught to delay their dreams until they're too old to enjoy them. We treat youth like a disposable phase.
Right, and DeMarco calls that out early in the book. He says we've been sold a wealth in a wheelchair mindset where freedom is always pushed off into the future like a dangling carrot.
Now hold on, 5 years? That sounds like one of those too good to be true late-night infomercial promises. What's the catch?
That's the thing. DeMarco isn't promising magic. He's calling out the slow, outdated wealth strategies most of us are taught and replacing them with something faster, smarter, and a whole lot more empowering.
So, no get-rich-quick schemes, but definitely a call to stop playing the long game if it's broken. I'm guessing this isn't your average just invest in index funds and be patient kind of book.
Not even close. DeMarco takes aim at the whole idea of trading time for money, whether it's through a 9-to-5 or a savings plan. He says real wealth comes when you build a system that can scale without your constant effort.
And by system, we're not talking about some secret app or passive income fantasy. It's about building something that creates value without needing your hours glued to it.
Exactly. Think about owning a product, a platform, or a business that works even when you're not working. That's what DeMarco means by stepping into the fast lane.
Okay, that's a bold claim. But before we dive into business models and commandments of wealth, let's talk about what pushed DeMarco to write this book in the first place, because it all started with a Lamborghini.
That's right. One random moment in a parking lot changed how he saw money, freedom, and what it really takes to live rich while you're still young enough to enjoy it.
So Ray, let's break this down. DeMarco says there are 3 financial roadmaps, right? The sidewalk, the slow lane, and the fast lane. Sounds like the beginning of a car commercial.
It kind of is, except instead of horsepower and leather seats, it's about how you're earning, spending, and thinking about money. The sidewalk is the financial dead end. That's where people live paycheck to paycheck, chasing stuff they can't afford with money they don't have.
Right? Think maxed out credit cards, no savings, and zero plan for the future. Basically, if you're just hoping things will work out, you're stuck on the sidewalk.
Exactly. And the scary part is most sidewalkers don't even realize they're on it. They think having a job or a degree automatically makes them financially secure, but DeMarco says it's about how you behave with money, not how much you make.
It's like having a leaky bucket. You keep pouring more in, but it never fills. That's the sidewalk life. Doesn't matter how much you earn if you're spending faster than you bring it in.
Totally. And sidewalkers often chase appearances too. Nice car, fancy clothes, latest gadgets. But underneath, there's no financial foundation. It's a lifestyle fueled by consumption, not creation.
Okay, so let's say you're off the sidewalk. Next stop, the slow lane. That's the one most people think is the safe path, right?
It is, and that's the problem. The slow lane is where you trade your time for money. You get a job, save 10%, invest in a 401k, and hope the stock market does its thing for the next 40 years. You might eventually get rich, but only if everything goes perfectly, and you don't die first.
And that safe path comes with a lot of hidden risks. Layoffs, inflation, bad markets, rising costs of living. It's slow and fragile.
Exactly. And it trains people to wait decades before they give themselves permission to enjoy life. DeMarco calls that the ultimate gamble, betting your best years for a maybe later payout.
DeMarco really doesn't pull punches. He says the slow lane is just selling your life away in 40-hour increments. That hit hard.
It's brutal because it's true. The slow lane gives you just enough hope to stay in the system, but not enough control to actually escape it.
And the culture reinforces it too. You're seen as responsible if you stay in that lane, even if you're miserable. Step out of it and suddenly people think you're reckless.
Right. But the irony is, the fast lane, when done right, is actually more stable in the long run because you're building assets, not just exchanging time for money.
All right, so what's the fast lane then? Just start a business and hope it takes off?
Not quite. The fast lane is about building something that can scale, like a product, a platform, or a service that solves a real need and isn't tied to your hours. It's not about gambling. It's about designing a system that works harder than you ever could.
So instead of driving the car, you build the road. I like that.
Exactly. And once it's built, that road can take you anywhere, fast.
All right, so now that we know what the fast lane is, let's talk about how to actually get on it, because build a system sounds great, but how do you even start?
That's where DeMarco's 5 commandments come in. He breaks down what every successful Fastlane business needs. These aren't vague ideas. They're specific filters that help you figure out if your idea has real potential.
Let me guess. Commandment number 1 is something like make lots of money fast?
Not quite. It's need. The first commandment says your business has to solve a real problem. DeMarco didn't get rich by doing what was trendy. He noticed limo companies needed leads and travelers didn't know where to find them. So he built a solution, and the market rewarded him for it.
That's the story where he goes from struggling freelancer to building a lead gen system that worked even while he slept. That's when it started clicking for him.
Exactly. He didn't chase some viral product or gimmick. He found a boring but painful problem and fixed it. That's where the gold usually is.
Yeah, most people overlook that. They think entrepreneurship has to be flashy, like inventing the next social app. But solving a niche, boring pain point can be way more powerful.
Totally. When you create value, especially in a space others ignore, you tap into sustainable demand. And that's the first step to real leverage.
All right, so we've got need. What's next?
Next is entry. You need a barrier to keep copycats out. If it's easy to start, it's easy to lose. That's why DeMarco warns against low entry trends or copy-paste businesses.
So if your business is just reselling someone else's product on Amazon, you're probably not in the fast lane?
Correct. If thousands of people can launch the same exact product or use the same playbook, you have no edge. A fast lane business isn't built on convenience, it's built on unique value.
Makes sense. I guess that's why so many dropshipping stores fizzle out. They're not really businesses. They're just temporary hustles with no moat.
Exactly. You want to play a game where you write the rules, not just follow a trend.
All right, commandment 3.
That's control. You have to own your platform. DeMarco says don't build your empire on someone else's land. If your income depends on a boss, a single client, or even a social media algorithm, you're not in control.
That's the example he gives about multi-level marketing. You might think you're running a business, but really you're just renting a seat at someone else's table.
Exactly. You want to be the owner, not the tenant. If your income can disappear because someone else changes the rules, it's not real freedom.
That's a big one today. So many creators rely totally on platforms. One algorithm tweak and their income tanks.
And that's why Fastlane entrepreneurs build systems they own. Websites, products, customer lists, assets no one can take away overnight.
All right, now we're on number 4, scale. That sounds like the exciting part.
It is. This is where the law of affection comes in. DeMarco's key to making millions. He says if you want to make big money, you have to create something that can affect millions of people.
He puts it simply, impact millions to make millions. It's not about working harder, it's about reaching farther.
Right. You don't need to charge a fortune if you serve enough people. It's about multiplying your value across a large audience through products, platforms, or services that scale without you.
Like writing a book, building software, launching a marketplace, something that lives on after you're done working on it.
Exactly. It's the difference between selling one-on-one and building something once that sells thousands of times.
Okay, final commandment. Time?
Yes, time. Your income needs to be detached from your time. If you stop working and the money stops too, you're not in the fast lane. The goal is to build something that earns while you sleep.
So basically, a fast lane business passes all 5 commandments. It solves a real problem, is hard to copy, you control it, it can scale, and it doesn't rely on your time. Sounds like a unicorn.
It does, but DeMarco insists it's doable. He says you don't need fame, money, or a perfect plan. You just need to solve one real problem better than anyone else and build from there.
All right, Ray, let's say someone's fired up now. They're hearing all this and thinking, okay, I get it. The slow lane sucks. The fast lane makes sense. But where do I even begin?
That's the best part. DeMarco doesn't leave you hanging. He says the first step isn't writing a business plan or raising money, it's taking action. His advice? Burn the business plan, ignite execution.
So stop waiting for perfect conditions and start doing something, anything that solves a real problem?
Exactly. You don't need to quit your job tomorrow or come up with $1 billion idea overnight. DeMarco's point is to start where you are, even if it's small. Momentum matters more than a master plan.
That's refreshing. It's like he's giving people permission to be scrappy, to build in the cracks of their current life instead of waiting for a big break.
Yes, and he's proof it works. DeMarco started with a simple website built during downtime at a limo job. He didn't have funding or connections. He just noticed a need and built something useful.
And eventually that turned into a business that made him a millionaire while he was still in his 30s. That's a far cry from retiring at 65 with a coupon book and a gold watch.
And that's his whole point. Fastlane wealth isn't just about the money, it's about the freedom to control your time. He describes working just an hour a day and still having the money roll in because the system did the heavy lifting.
That's the dream right there. But let's keep it real. This isn't a shortcut for people looking to coast. The work is real, it's just leveraged.
Right? And it's guided by principles. DeMarco lays out a whole set of Fastlane lifestyle guidelines, ideas like don't trade time for money, and don't dismiss get rich quick as improbable.
And I love how he reframes get rich quick. Like, it's not about being lucky or shady. It's about building a smart system that scales. Fast doesn't mean fake.
Exactly. Fast means focused. It means making intentional decisions that pull you out of the financial slow drip most people live in. It's fast because you're not waiting around for life to begin.
That last one hit me, because we've been taught that fast success is always a scam. But DeMarco says maybe it's just rare because most people are following the wrong map.
And now you know there's another way. If you want to start your own Fastlane journey, look for a problem you can solve, test your idea, and commit to building something bigger than yourself.